Thank you, Madam Speaker. I appreciate the good lady and her story, and I'm happy she's here today to tell that story. I want to talk about the people and the broken promises that this legislature has given, Madam Speaker.
If you could focus on the policy and not motives, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I voted for a Blake fix, Madam Speaker. When the Supreme Court ruling came down and the word knowingly was taken out of the RCW, I voted for any fix, Madam Speaker, to help those who were in active addiction, Madam Speaker. And it didn't work. It didn't work. You know it, I know it, we see it every day. I am afraid for our next generation, Madam Speaker. It's not a war on drug, Madam Speaker. We're losing it. We're losing it every day. You can see the numbers. I was pulling up the CDC statistics on death rates and fentanyl. It's astronomical. I don't even want to talk about it. That's where I feel like we didn't give any answered treatments in the last policy when we talked about the Blake fix. And now we didn't require the treatment to finish. We're talking about how people feel. But I think we all agree on the same path. You have to live before you can feel great. You have to be picked up off the streets. You have to be held somewhere. And you have to just not in your mind, an act of addiction, say, I will go someday. You have to be taken there. And the story about the water in the jail and on the floor, my God, no one wants to experience that. But the alternative, Madam Speaker, the alternative is death. I want people to feel good, Madam Speaker. I want to build them up. But we cannot build them up, Madam Speaker, if there are any pathways for them to fall through the cracks. And Madam Speaker, I fear that this policy is going to be another broken promise. There's going to be cracks in this policy where they're going to be lost. And we are going to talk about it. We are going to see it. And Madam Speaker, it's in the schools. It is in the schools. And I want my communities to say, drug dealers, you are not allowed here. You do not get to pray over our children. You do not get to pray over our communities and put a stop to it. But it's not. It's not, Madam Speaker. And the greatest thing I did, and I will just, the few seconds I have when I was in uniform, was seeing a woman come towards me. When I was in civilian clothes, and I worked in a large urban area, one of the largest in the nation, and she came running at me, screaming, "Dep, Dep, Dep," and hugged me and said, "You saved my life," in front of my husband. I don't know how she recognized me. She said, "I'm alive because of you." And she took me. I had to meet her family and her father, and she cried and held me. Madam Speaker, she was alive. She was alive, and you could see her energy from down the road, and she was living this beautiful life. And she said, "I have my children, and I have my life because of you. I want to make sure every one of us will be here, that our children will be here. But we have to be able to pick them up and not let them fall through the cracks. And Madam Speaker, there are cracks in this legislation. I urge a no vote. Let's fix it.